The ice at Bryant Park was never perfect. It carried the scars of 1,000 blades, little grooves, frozen ripples, the occasional rogue leaf trapped beneath the surface like a secret. Evelyn noticed every flaw as she stepped onto it, because noticing flaws was what she did best these days. Her rented skates were half a size too small, the left one already rubbing a blister, but pain felt honest. Better than the numb ache that lived in her chest since Claire had left the ring on the counter and taken Moose the golden retriever to a new life in Philadelphia. She pushed off anyway, arms stiff, ankles wobbling. The air smelled of burnt sugar and exhaust from the food carts. Mariah Carey blasted from the speakers, insisting all she wanted for Christmas was someone who clearly wasn't coming back. Evelyn completed one painful lap, then another, concentrating so hard on not falling that she almost didn't see the woman gliding straight toward her until it was too late. She tried to correct, overcorrected, and felt herself pitching backward. The ice rushed up to meet her, except it didn't. Hands caught her under the ribs, strong, steady, warm even through layers of wool. The impact never came. Instead, she found herself pressed briefly against a cream-colored coat that smelled like cedar and something faintly citrus. "Hi there," the voice said, low and laughing. "I've got you." Evelyn's heart was hammering so hard she was sure the stranger could feel it. She straightened slowly, turning in the circle of those arms. The woman was taller than she'd expected, cheekbones sharp under the golden park lights, hazel eyes crinkled with amusement and something gentler. A long camel scarf fluttered around her neck like it was trying to escape. Hair the color of dark honey had escaped its braid and danced across her face every time she breathed. "I'm Leah," she said, not letting go quite yet. "And you're about 2 seconds from becoming a TikTok sound." Evelyn felt heat flood her face. "I was going for interpretive dance."
Very avant-garde.
10 out of 10 for commitment. Leah's smile was crooked, devastating. "Want a co-conspirator, so the next fall looks intentional?" Evelyn should have said no. Should have muttered thank you and skated away to lick her wounds in private. Instead, she heard herself answer, "Only if you promise not to let go." Leah's eyes softened.
Deal.
They started slow. Leah kept one hand at the small of Evelyn's back, the other clasped firmly around gloved fingers. She was an impossibly good skater, smooth, effortless circles that made Evelyn feel like a newborn foal. Every time Evelyn's ankles threatened treason, Leah tightened her grip and murmured something ridiculous. "Lean into me. I've got a black belt in catching beautiful disasters, or if we fall together. Matching bruises are romantic." Within 10 minutes, Evelyn was laughing, actually laughing, in a way that felt foreign and fizzy in her throat. They moved faster, weaving through clusters of teenagers and overconfident dads. Leah spun her once, carefully, like testing whether Evelyn trusted her. Evelyn did. God help her, she did. Eventually they slowed near the edge where the lights were softer and the music had switched to something old and slow, Frank Sinatra maybe. Their breath came in matching white clouds. "You always rescue strangers on skates?" Evelyn asked, trying to sound casual and failing. "Only the ones wearing that exact shade of camel coat," Leah said, then bit her lip like she'd revealed too much. "Also, you look like someone who used to love this and forgot how." "I know that look." Evelyn's chest tightened. "I haven't been here since before." She hated ice skating. Said it was for children and people who like broken tailbones. Leah's thumb traced small circles over Evelyn's knuckles through their gloves. "Then let's make a new memory that has nothing to do with her." They skated until the Zamboni rumbled its 15-minute warning. When they stepped off the ice, legs shaky, cheeks wind-burned, neither of them moved to let go. They sat on a bench sharing one terrible hot chocolate with 2 straws because Leah insisted it was more environmentally friendly, which was clearly a lie. Steam curled between them. "So," Leah said quietly, "I live 8 blocks north. I make a mean spice cider, and my cat is an excellent third wheel who judges everyone equally. No pressure. But if you wanted to keep not falling with me, I wouldn't hate it." Evelyn stared at the rink, at the lights reflecting in 1,000 tiny scars on the ice. She thought about going home to her quiet apartment and the ring she still couldn't throw away. She thought about how Leah's hand felt like an anchor and a promise at the same time. "I'd like that," she said. They walked through the park slowly, shoulders brushing, scarves tangling whenever the wind shifted. Leah talked easily, sound engineer, originally from Seattle, allergic to turtlenecks but not to feelings, apparently. Evelyn listened more than she spoke, but every time she did, Leah looked at her like her words were rare coins worth collecting. At Leah's building, a pre-war walk-up with a radiator that sang opera, the doorman greeted Leah by name and gave Evelyn a knowing smile that made her blush all over again. The elevator smelled like pine cleaner and possibility. Inside the apartment, warm light spilled from mismatched lamps. Records lined one wall. A mixing board glowed softly on a desk by the window. A fat orange tabby immediately inspected Evelyn's boots with imperial disdain before allowing exactly one chin scratch. "That's His Majesty King Leopold the Judgmental," Leah announced, hanging both their coats like they belonged together. "He'll warm up in 3 to 5 business days." She made cider on the stove, real apples, cinnamon sticks, a splash of something that might have been bourbon. They drank it on the couch under a blanket that smelled like cedar and dryer sheets. Leopold wedged himself between them like a furry referee. The conversation turned quiet, honest. "I kept checking the shelter website for months," Evelyn admitted, staring into her mug. "Like maybe she'd realize she missed me and bring Moose back." "Pathetic, right?" Leah set her cider down. "I still have the wedding playlist we never used. It's titled Forever Starts Here, and I can't delete it. So no, not pathetic. Human." Evelyn looked up. The room was golden and soft, snow starting to fall past the window in fat, lazy flakes. "I'm scared," she whispered. Leah moved Leopold with gentle authority and slid closer until their knees touched. "Me too. But I'm more scared of never knowing what your laugh sounds like when it isn't surprised by itself." She reached out, slow enough that Evelyn could have stopped her, and brushed a thumb across Evelyn's cheekbone. The touch burned in the best way. "Can I?" Leah asked, voice barely above the radiator's song. Evelyn answered by closing the distance. The kiss was careful at first. 2 people who'd been burned learning fire could be warm instead of destructive. Then Leah made a small sound, almost a sigh, and Evelyn felt it in her bones. She slid her hands into that honey-colored hair, felt Leah's arms come around her like coming home. They tasted cider and cinnamon and the particular sweetness of second chances. When they pulled apart, foreheads still touching, snow light painting soft patterns across their faces, Leah whispered, "Stay." Evelyn, who hadn't spent the night anywhere but her own bed in longer than she could count, said, "Yes." They fell asleep tangled on the couch, still half-dressed, Leopold purring like a motor between them, city lights flickering through the blinds. Somewhere around 3 a.m., Evelyn woke to find Leah watching her with quiet wonder. "What?" she mumbled. "Just making sure you're real," Leah said and kissed her again, slower this time, like they had all the time in the world. Morning came white and hushed. They returned to the rink because Leah insisted memories should be layered, not replaced. This time Evelyn didn't wobble once. They skated hand in hand while Leopold waited at home plotting revenge for being abandoned. Much later, when spring tried to muscle its way in and the ice was gone, they still walked past Bryant Park sometimes just to look at the empty space where everything had changed. "That's where you caught me," Evelyn would say, squeezing Leah's fingers. "No," Leah always answered, pulling her close under whatever light happened to be shining. "That's where you finally let yourself be caught." And the city, noisy and indifferent and secretly romantic, kept their secret like it keeps all the best love stories, safe between heartbeats and streetlights, waiting for the next person brave enough to fall.